What's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to another video. Today we're doing something a little bit different with our mock drafts. We're going to be reacting to a CBS Sports mock draft done by Josh Edwards, a very respected guy in the CBS Sports community. You know, if I make my own mock drafts every single week, it's going to start to get a little stale. You know, some situations are just going to happen, you know, for teams more often than you'd like. But with reacting to other people's, we get some different viewpoints. We can kind of react, see what they think. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I am a college kid who's doing this to hopefully one day have a career working with the NFL draft, right? But it always helps to go through and react to what some of the guys who are doing this for their careers currently, right? So read this title here. Raiders get a franchise quarterback. Bucks replace Mike Evans. NFC North go defense. And we'll get into this. Hopefully my face cam's not blocking too many things. We're going to get through the ads, and we start here first. Round one, pick one is Caleb Williams, right? It says Williams in a tier of his own at quarterback. Chicago has convinced him that they intend to stick and pick at number one, and he thinks that they're going to be able to get some of the assets in return for Justin Fields. I do think that the Bears are going to take a quarterback. I think that is probably the logical move. You've seen Justin Fields improve, but have you seen enough improvement to pass on either Caleb Williams or Drake May? I'm not sure you have. Williams is an exceptional prospect. I think it's 1A, 1B between May and Williams. I saw someone in the comments saying, how can you choose May over Williams when May is a bust? We don't know he's a bust yet. How would you possibly know that unless you're a time traveler? Williams at number one. I like that. Number two is interesting here. Jaden Daniels from LSU. Apologies. Jaden Daniels from LSU at number two. Everything assumption that has been Drake May being taken second once Williams is gone. He believes that's the most likely outcome. Okay. So he's acknowledging one of those other possibilities here that Daniels could potentially go. He says Daniels had a better 2023 season than May, which is 100% true. Daniels won the Heisman Trophy, an exceptional year. And this season really pushed Daniels up to the top of the draft, probably a locked top 8 pick, right? Jaden Daniels is an incredible athlete with a good arm who worked a lot on his processing and his accuracy this season. Taking him over Drake May, I think, would be not necessarily a reach, but a surprise, to say the least. Drake May is an exceptional quarterback. I assume we'll get to him soon here. But I like the fit with Daniels in Washington. We don't know who Washington's head coach is going to be yet. But Daniels, I think, can fit to any system just because of the traits that he has. So going down, number three, I assume, yes, it is Drake May for the New England Patriots. Patriots are starting fresh with Gerard Mayo, and Mayo starting with, he can't imagine Mayo is excited about starting with Mac Jones. That is a little shade thrown at Mac Jones. But I think he would be excited starting with Drake May. Drake May is a really, really good player. He's better inside the construct of the play. You hear outside the construct, inside the construct of the play. Williams is outside the construct of the play, an improviser. Drake May is inside the construct of the play, you know, throwing on timing, anticipation, the accuracy. May is an incredible quarterback prospect, a stereotypical size. He had a down year statistic-wise this season, but it doesn't necessarily mean statistics aren't how you judge a prospect, right? Just because they didn't have the same stats they had last year doesn't make them a worse prospect than they were last year. They can improve in other aspects of the game. Drake May to the Patriots, I think, makes a lot of sense. Number four here, Marvin Harrison. I think this is starting to look more likely that Harrison will be the first non-quarterback off the board at number four. The QBs could probably go 1, 2, 3, I think is very likely at this point. Arizona, they need weapons, right? He says that they need to stack talent here. You get Kyler Murray, who came back from injury and played all right. Just an insane weapon in Harrison. I think the fit is just, you know, it's a no-brainer, and Harrison's a no-brainer top 5 prospect. Not much time to spend on that one. Go at 5 here. Brock Bowers, okay. Brock Bowers to the Chargers. Depletion of pass catchers is neutralized with selection of Brock Bowers. New head coach in Jim Harbaugh. I think this is an interesting pick. Bowers is kind of a wild card because he's a tight end, right? But he's so much more than just a typical tight end. He stacks another level of talent on top of that. Top 5, we've seen Kyle Pitts go top 5, so it's not out of the, you know, frame of possibilities here, realm of possibilities. I think the Chargers probably have some more pressing needs, but if you get an exceptional weapon for Justin Herbert, then you can live with that, right? At 6, the Giants go Malik Neighbors. I've been giving Neighbors to either the Chargers or the Giants for a while now. I think that it just makes sense. They're both wide receiver, pass-catching, needy teams. Neighbors is an exceptional athlete, great after the catch, great with the ball in his hands, can stretch the field. And I think with New York, where you don't have you just need wide receiver talent, Neighbors makes sense. He broke out this season after 1,000 yards last season as well. He's an exceptional player. They talk about Roma Dunze or Odunze, however you say it, has share of supporters, but Neighbors is his number 2 wide receiver. Neighbors is also my number 2 wide receiver. Okay, we agree there, Edwards. 7, they have Joe Alt. Okay, so first, offensive lineman off the board is Alt to the Tennessee Titans. They hired an offensive-minded head coach, the Bengals' former offensive coordinator, Brian Callahan. And I actually like this one a lot. You need to protect Will Levis, who you assume at this point is going to be your quarterback for at least the next year, if not going forward. They also need weapons for Will Levis, but protection comes first. We've seen kind of what happens with the Bengals with Joe Burrow, where they got him weapons, and they've done really well. But Burrow needs protection now. If you start with the protection, like, for, say, the Lions have with Jared Goff, and maybe the Titans do now with Will Levis, I really like that fit. All monster of an athlete. You see down here, 6'7", 322. I mean, just insane. The pick 8, Dallas Turner, first defensive player off the board. I've seen this a lot more recently, that the Falcons go defense at 8. I could see that happening. They need, do you take the best defensive player off the board in the most valuable defensive position, the edge rusher? Anytime you get pressure on the quarterback, that is more valuable than any other position on the defense. Dallas Turner, a crazy good athlete. I think that the Falcons may be a trade-up team. If one of their guys, like one of their quarterbacks, one of those top 3, somehow managed to make it to like 5 or 4 even, if the Cardinals would consider a trade down, I think the Falcons are a team to trade up. We don't know who their head coach is yet, but taking a talented edge rusher from a school like Alabama is never a bad bet. Pick number 9, Jared Verse. We took two edge rushers off the board. They went Williams at number 1. Now they go Verse. Just a proven guy. He's done it a lot. Verse is a good athlete as well. Just strong, powerful. And Chicago needs pressure, right? They traded for Montez Sweat, which I think was a really, really good trade. But you need someone on the other side. You get Jared Verse. Fits that, outside linebacker rusher, the 3-4 that they like to do. And I really like that pick for them. Olu Fashanu down here at 10. Olu Fashanu is my personal offensive tackle number 1. But if you have Joe Alt there, I will not fight you. Alt's an incredible player. I do think the Jets need to go offensive line. You kind of have a wild card with Mekhi Becton, who's good when he's on the field, but he has to be on the field and not injured. Elijah Vera Tucker's a good player. You need some more protection, right, for Rodgers if he's going to be back to start the year. If not, that we don't know who, because they're probably not going to bring back Zach Wilson. But no matter what, you need to protect your quarterback, and I think Fashanu is an incredible guy. He had a better sophomore year than this past year, his junior year, but still a great prospect. Laiatu Latu at 11. Okay. I really like Laiatu Latu. I haven't gotten fully into the edge rusher tape, but at the moment, he's my edge rusher 3. I think he's really, really good. He had a great season this past year at UCLA. The issue with him is the injuries, right? I say this in every single video, but you have to keep bringing it up. He had to medically retire from football at a point. That is a big red flag. But he's so talented, and Minnesota just needs edge rushers. They mention here, they don't know about Marcus Davenport, DJ Wanham, and Daniil Hunter. Who's coming back, who's not. Will Wanham be back from injury okay? Latu is kind of I wouldn't say a safe pick because of the injuries, but it's a position that you need, who's a great player. I like that pick. Terrion Arnold, first corner off the board. I've been having him as the first corner off the board for a while now. Going to the Broncos, who I think you can pair him with Surtain on the other side. They mentioned that pairing with Surtain on the other side just gives you a great cornerback duo. Arnold got targeted a lot this year on the other side of McKinstry and was locked down, so I really like that pick. 13, J.J. McCarthy. So they mentioned it in the title, Raiders get franchise quarterback. McCarthy's an interesting one, okay? I do agree with Josh Edwards here that he's going to benefit from the pre-draft process, the combine interviews, and all that. A lot of people don't like McCarthy because of the production, the stats. He doesn't really have that up there. I think McCarthy is a big hit or miss prospect, right? He's got the traits, the athleticism, the arm. That's all there. The pocket presence is okay. It improved a lot in as far as that goes in the pre-snap reads and all that. Where I think he lacks is the accuracy and processing time, right? He can process it okay, but he processes things a little late, which one messes up timing with your receivers, and two can lead to some errant throws or just incompletions. But if the Raiders and Antonio Pierce can potentially mold McCarthy the way they want him to, that could be a home run pick. At 14, the Saints go Rome Odunze. I would absolutely love this as a partial Saints fan, mainly Browns fan, but I used to like Drew Brees when he was in the Saints, so partial Saints fan. We'll get past that. The Saints need another wide receiver. I don't think Michael Thomas is coming back. On the other side, you have Chris Olave, and if you put Odunze, you're giving Derek Carr all the weapons he needs to succeed over there. That would be an insanely fun offense. Odunze, great deep threat, amazing hands, fluid route runner. That'd be an amazing pick to see for them. Pick 15 here, Nate Wiggins. I really like Nate Wiggins. I think him or Arnold will be the first corner off the board. Not sure that I really like the fit here in Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis has more pressing needs, although I think I have given them corner at times, going back on my own draft picks. But Nate Wiggins is a really physical corner. I think they just need defense help, right? You're going to get Anthony Richardson back, and that offense is young and developing. So defense is perfect sense here. Nate Wiggins, great cornerback, should be able to play on the other side of whoever they have on the other side. I know they have Kenny Moore in the slot. 16, Byron Murphy. I've seen him getting projected a little higher more recently, and I don't mind it. One of the fastest rising prospects in this class. He is an incredible player. Had a great season this past year at Texas. A little bit undersized at only 6'1", but I think teams are going to be able to look past that just with the athleticism and the burst and the skill that he shows. I mean, just amazing player. And I do think he fits what Seattle wants to do with a mauling defensive line, right? They've got Boya Mafe, who really came on this past season. Leonard Williams, it's a hit free agency, but I think they might re-sign him. You have Murphy and Williams on the inside, Mafe off the edge. I would really, really like that for them. 17, Quinyon Mitchell. A little bit high, I think, for Quinyon Mitchell, but crazy athlete out of Toledo, right? You see Toledo, and you're like, okay, group of 5. But you look at the player, and Quinyon Mitchell's a really, really good guy. I think with confirmed 4.3 speed, physical profile, and aggressiveness they mentioned here, I think Mitchell's going to be one of those smaller school guys who really rise up come the pre-draft process and solidify themselves as one of the top corner. That's Quinyon Mitchell. Bengals at 18, J.C. Latham. Yes. I talked about this earlier with the Tennessee Titans. They need to protect Joe Burrow. Latham is one of the strongest players, right? One of the strongest offensive linemen. I mean, I think he gets drafted in what is immediately one of the strongest offensive linemen in the whole league as a rookie. He's 6'6", 330, you see here, but that's just watching him on film. It's just crazy the difference in strength, right? As far as technical ability goes, he could use some work, but still was good in that aspect. But I think the Bengals can kind of mold him. You have some other guys, but what do you really like out of Jonah Williams? And Lyle Collins is gone, and Orlando Brown. I think you're going to have him on one side, Latham on the other, starting to build back that offensive line for Joe Burrow. 19, Fuaga. I like this player. Not sure I really like the fit. I think they need offensive tackle, but I think they'd be much more inclined to go with somebody who's a little more proven in the pass blocking department. Fuaga is an incredible run blocker, mauler, but he could use some work in the pass blocking department. And I think, although you can prioritize the run game with Kyren Williams, I think you need to keep Matthew Stafford healthy for as long as you have him. And the best way to do that is to pass block. At 20 here, Marius Mims, a run of offensive tackles, 3 in a row. I really like Marius Mims. He's going to be joining his former teammate and Broderick Jones to the Steelers. I believe I gave them Amari Smith in my last mock draft, so I won't spend too much time on this, but I just think tackle is a position that the Steelers probably will 90% go in the first round. I think you can expect to see that come April. 21, Troy Fautanu, just a run of offensive linemen. Fautanu played tackle in the NFL, is projected to move to guard, but I think he can play either. Flexibility is something that teams like the Dolphins really, prioritize, and I think Fautanu would fit well to protect Tua, give them a little bit more time to stretch the field with guys like Waddle and Hill, and block for Devon Achane, who I think is going to take over running back 1 duties. Although Mostert had a really good year, Achane is younger. You turn it over to the guy who you drafted high last year. 22, Jordan Morgan. My God, there is 5 offensive tackles or offensive linemen in a row. But this is a very good offensive draft, so I understand that. Jordan Morgan here to the Eagles. Jason Kelce retired. You have Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens, they mention. They mentioned that he has a profile to move inside as well. I'm not sure what they're really going to do. I expect one of Dickerson or Jurgens to take over at center. You have Lane Johnson still on the right side. You have Mailata on the left. I think you could slide Morgan in on that other guard spot, whoever doesn't take the center spot, or move him outside if Lane Johnson retires or when Lane Johnson retires. I really like a tackle for the Eagles, or a tackle with flexibility to move inside for the Eagles. At 23, I saw scrolled to this a little earlier. Chopper Robinson, incredible edge rusher, had a great year, bounce back year, I think, at Penn State, as people were starting to get a little low on him at the beginning of the season. But they just need to improve that pass rushing unit. You have Will Anderson on the one side. Getting Chopper Robinson on the other side would just be a crazy combo of speed there in Houston. I think D'Amico Ryans wants to get back to being a gritty defensive team, and I think Chopper Robinson allows you to do that. Graham Barton here. I'm not sure I necessarily like offensive line for the Cowboys, although I can understand it. Tyron Smith is a free agent. They have Barton here lifted at tackle. You could move Tyler Smith to left tackle. I think Tyler Smith had a way better year at guard, but you have Smith, who has tackle flexibility, and Barton, who also has tackle flexibility but is projected to play inside. I guess that makes sense. It's just not what I would have personally done, but Barton's a really good player, just one of those flexible guys in the offensive line that you covet. At 25, Khalid McKinstry. He's fallen quite a bit. They have him as a #1 corner. I don't know if I agree with that. But he's fallen a little bit through the process, just a really good athlete, but had some issues in coverage this year, letting up big plays. But the Packers are trying to get somebody on the other side of Jair Alexander, and I don't mind that at all. At 26, Brian Thomas Jr. I like this pick, right? Mike Evans is about to hit free agency. I'm really not sure he comes back. You need to get someone to replace him. They're probably going to bring back Baker Mayfield. You still have Chris Godwin. Trey Palmer's all right. Brian Thomas Jr. is an incredible deep threat, someone for Baker to stretch the field, use his big arm to get the ball down to it, and I really like that pick. Number 27, Cardinals. Earlier they took Marvin Harrison, now they get Cooper DeJean. DeJean is the definition of versatile defensive back, right? White corner. Yeah, I know. This dude is probably going to play safety in the league, but I think he has the ability to stick at corner if he wanted to. He has the athleticism, ideal size. He's just a good player. Also returns punts, right? I just think that he could go. I think he's going to go higher than 27 just because of the versatility. DeJean's really, really good. Guyton at 28. I do think the Bills need offensive tackle. They say Kansas City looked vulnerable. They weren't able to overcome that hurdle. I think one of the ways you can do that is to protect Josh Allen a little bit better. I don't mind their offensive line, Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins. I don't hate the tackles there. Guyton, I think, has the ability to be a lot better. At pick 29 here, you have Jerzon Newton. I've seen Newton falling a little bit recently, but I don't really get it. I really like Jerzon Newton. Chris Jones slated to become a free agent. Chiefs need depth, high motor. Newton is really high motor, offers a lot of pass rush for being an undersized interior defensive lineman. It's rare to find that much pass rush ability from an interior guy is very valuable. 30, you have Kamari Lassiter. I'm not as high on Lassiter as I was before watching the tape. I've kind of fallen a little bit on him, but the Lions, they need corner. They've kind of struck out in that position in the past. Lassiter gives you another opportunity. And the Lions are a team that are competing for the Super Bowl right now. They're in the NFC Championship. So, yeah, I think just getting more talent in the secondary is going to be huge for Detroit. 31, we see Kingsley Suamataia. That is how you pronounce it. I did learn that recently. I do think the Niners need to go offensive line, right? I'm not sure I'm fully bought into who they have there. Trent Williams is an incredible player, but he's aging. You need someone else there. I think Suamataia can be that guy. I don't know. I haven't gotten to watch Suamataia yet, so I can't say too much about him, but looking at the size, I have heard he's technically refined for being so young. Just needs to work on some footwork, kick step, but I like this pick. I just like the fit for the 49ers. And last pick in the first round is Keon Coleman to the Ravens. I love this pick, right? I absolutely love this pick. Keon Coleman is probably the best 50-50 ball receiver we've seen in the draft in a while. Crazy size, crazy speed, just the ability to move like he does when he's that tall and that big. Incredible. The hands are great. The jumping is great. The only issue I see with Keon Coleman, which is why he's fallen recently, is the lack of separation he gets on the routes. It's kind of a thing for bigger receiver. We've seen Quentin Johnston, N'Keal Harry, just J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, kind of three that come to mind that in college struggled to get separation. And two of them at least have been busts, too early to tell on Quentin Johnston. But Coleman just moves differently than they did in space, and I really like that pick. Draft will take place April 25th in Detroit. I may be going, so you guys may get some content from that. But, yeah, overall, a really good mock draft from Josh Edwards here. I think my favorite pick is probably this Latham pick to the Bengals. And outside of that, I really, really liked the Cooper DeJean pick. I think he should go higher. But, yeah, respect to CBS Sports for giving out a really good mock draft here. There's some mock drafts I really don't like, but props to Josh Edwards. Go check this mock draft out if you want to read through all the descriptions. I kind of didn't go through that. But, yeah, if you guys enjoyed, want more draft content, I'm planning a 3-round mock draft for February. Sometime mid-February will be uploaded. Be sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a like. Let me know who you want your team to draft in the comments down below. I'll be responding to comments. And, yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.